JonBenét Patricia Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia, into a family that appeared from the outside to embody success and stability. Her father, John Ramsey, was a respected business executive leading a thriving technology company, while her mother, Patsy Ramsey, was a former beauty queen with a strong presence and creative spirit. Together, they provided their children with a comfortable life filled with opportunity. The family later settled in Boulder, Colorado, where they lived in a large home within a quiet, affluent neighborhood. JonBenét grew up surrounded by care, structure, and encouragement, sharing her childhood with her older brother Burke and two older half-siblings from her father's previous marriage. Friends and acquaintances described the household as active and involved, with parents who took pride in their children's development. No one could have imagined that this seemingly ordinary family would soon become associated with one of the most heartbreaking mysteries in modern American history: JonBenét's bright spirit and early interests. From an early age, JonBenét was known for her lively personality and natural confidence. She was outgoing, expressive, and enjoyed activities that allowed her to perform and socialize. One of the most visible parts of her childhood was her participation in children's beauty pageants, an interest encouraged by her mother's own background. These events showcased JonBenét's comfort on stage, her polished presentation, and her enthusiasm for music and costumes. At the same time, she lived a life familiar to many children her age, attending kindergarten, playing with friends, and enjoying family routines. Teachers and classmates remembered her as cheerful and energetic, a child who brought excitement into a room. While pageants later became a focus of public debate, within her family they were simply one of many activities she enjoyed. Her childhood, though highly structured at times, was filled with affection and attention, making the tragedy that followed even more difficult to comprehend. The morning that changed everything. The calm of the Ramsey household was shattered on the morning of December 26, 1996, when JonBenét was discovered missing from her home. A handwritten note found inside the house suggested a kidnapping, creating immediate panic and confusion. Authorities were contacted right away, and what followed was a day filled with fear, uncertainty, and rapidly unfolding events. Later that afternoon, JonBenét was found deceased inside the family's home, a discovery that transformed the situation from a missing child case into a devastating homicide investigation. The loss of a 6-year-old child under such circumstances sent shockwaves through the community and the nation. In a matter of hours, the Ramsey family went from celebrating the holidays to facing an unimaginable loss. The emotional impact of that day would linger far beyond the initial investigation, shaping public discourse and media coverage for decades to come. An investigation marked by confusion. From the earliest moments, the investigation into JonBenét's death faced significant challenges. Initial assumptions, combined with the intense emotional environment, led to decisions that later drew criticism from legal and forensic experts. The home was not immediately treated as a fully secured crime scene, allowing multiple people to move through the space before all evidence could be carefully preserved. In the days and weeks that followed, conflicting interpretations of physical evidence, handwriting analysis, and timelines created confusion rather than clarity. Law enforcement agencies found themselves under immense pressure from both the public and the media, while also navigating a highly unusual case with no clear precedent. These early complications made it difficult to establish a single, uncontested narrative of what occurred. Over time, the investigation became as much a subject of debate as the crime itself, with unanswered questions fueling speculation instead of resolution. Media attention and public speculation. As details of the case emerged, media coverage intensified at an extraordinary pace. News outlets, talk shows, and tabloids dissected every aspect of the Ramsey family's life, often blurring the line between verified information and speculation. The constant exposure placed enormous strain on the family, particularly as public opinion shifted unpredictably with each new headline. Instead of allowing the investigation to proceed quietly, the case became a form of public entertainment, inviting armchair theories and unproven narratives. This atmosphere made it difficult for facts to stand apart from rumor. Over time, the intense scrutiny affected not only the investigation, but also the lives of those involved, especially JonBenét's surviving family members. The media frenzy surrounding the case became one of its most defining features, shaping how it would be remembered and discussed for generations. The role of forensic developments. As years passed, advancements in forensic science brought renewed attention to the case. DNA testing, which was far less sophisticated in the 1990s, began offering new possibilities for analysis. Samples collected from the scene were re-examined using updated technology, leading investigators to identify genetic material that did not match any immediate family members. These findings prompted official statements that shifted the focus away from previously suspected scenarios. While the results did not identify a definitive perpetrator, they demonstrated how evolving science could reshape long-held assumptions. The case became a reminder of how unresolved investigations may benefit from patience and technological progress. Despite these developments, the lack of a clear conclusion continued to leave the public and the family without the closure they longed for. Growing up. Under a shadow. For Burke Ramsey, JonBenét's older brother, the tragedy altered the course of his life in ways few could understand. As a child, he lost his sister and his privacy at the same time. Growing up, he remained largely out of the public eye, a decision shaped by the intense attention surrounding the case. Speculation and theories circulated for years, often without regard for the fact that he had been a child at the time of the crime. Living with such scrutiny created lasting emotional challenges, influencing how he related to the world and protected his personal life. While he rarely spoke publicly, his silence was often misinterpreted rather than respected. Behind the headlines was a person navigating grief, confusion, and the long-term effects of growing up connected to one of the most talked-about cases in American history. Breaking silence. After nearly 3 decades, nearly 28 years later, Burke Ramsey's decision to speak publicly marked a significant moment in the ongoing story. As an adult, he reflected on his sister's memory, the impact of the investigation, and the emotional toll placed on his family. His words did not claim to solve the case, but instead offered perspective from someone who lived through its aftermath. He emphasized the importance of compassion, patience, and continued efforts to seek truth through responsible investigation rather than speculation. Burke also expressed hope that advancements in forensic science might one day provide answers that have remained elusive for so long. His appearance reminded the public that behind every unsolved case are real people who continue to carry its weight long after media attention fades. A case that still awaits closure. Today, the death of JonBenét Ramsey remains one of the most haunting unresolved cases in modern history. It continues to spark interest not because of sensationalism alone, but because it represents unanswered questions, investigative challenges, and the human cost of prolonged uncertainty. For the Ramsey family, the passage of time has not erased loss, but it has reshaped how they live with it. For the public, the case serves as a reminder of the importance of careful investigation, responsible reporting, and empathy for those affected by tragedy. While no single statement or discovery has yet provided final answers, the renewed focus on evidence, technology, and understanding offers hope that clarity may still emerge. Until then, JonBenét's story remains a solemn call for truth, justice, and compassion.